Tonight, we are pulling back the curtain on a multi-million-dollar entertainment assembly line that has chewed up and spat out some of the greatest vocal talents of our generation. Walk through the history of modern reality television, and you will find a landscape littered with the remnants of overnight sensations. Young, vulnerable artists win the hearts of millions on brightly lit stages, survive weeks of intense public voting, and sign massive, restrictive contracts, only to be quietly dropped by major conglomerates the moment their first single fails to crack the top 40 charts. It is a brutal, predatory cycle that relies on fleeting viral hype rather than sustainable development. Yet, our investigative team has been tracking an anomaly in this system. A 14-year-old girl from Wigan, who walked away from a massive British talent competition in 2018 without the winner's trophy, but somehow managed to engineer one of the most stable, lucrative independent careers in modern music history. She did not just survive losing the competition. She used the temporary television exposure as a launchpad to build a global empire completely free from the control of legacy record executives. The data indicates that, while winners of these franchises routinely file for bankruptcy or vanish into total obscurity within 12 months, this specific artist has systematically outmaneuvered the corporate gatekeepers who dictate the terms of modern stardom. The question we are investigating tonight is not just how she survived the reality television curse, but how her team crafted a bulletproof commercial strategy that turned a television loss into an unprecedented, multi-billion stream triumph. Immediately following the high-octane finale of her television run, an eerie, unexplained silence fell over the young singer's camp, sparking intense speculation among industry insiders who assumed her career was over before it began. In the hyper-accelerated world of digital media, vanishing from the public eye for even a few weeks after a viral television performance is widely considered a form of career sabotage. Traditional logic dictates that you must strike while the iron is hot, flooding the market with fast, radio-friendly pop tracks, tacky merchandise, and endless promotional interviews to cash in on temporary notoriety. Yet, our investigation reveals that this sudden disappearance was not an accidental misstep, but a calculated tactical retreat. Behind closed doors, serious corporate pressure was being applied, with mainstream entities offering standard, high-control contracts that would have stripped the young artist of her creative autonomy and forced her into a generic, heavily auto-tuned pop mold. By deliberately rejecting these immediate, short-sighted financial offers, her management took a massive gamble, prioritizing long-term brand equity over instant gratification. They chose to let the temporary reality show noise fade away entirely, waiting for the superficial hype to clear so they could execute a highly specialized, independent rollout. Rumors circulated that she had missed her golden window of opportunity, but in reality, she was being insulated from the toxic, short-lived trends of the mainstream music machine, setting the stage for a partnership that would completely stun the traditional recording industry. The true turning point of this investigation leads us directly to the doorstep of an obscure, highly specialized recording outfit that completely ignored the modern pop music playbook. While major entertainment conglomerates were busy manufacturing short-lived viral dance trends, a quiet alliance was forged between the young vocalist and Cavendish Records, a boutique independent label named after an 18th-century scientist. Our financial analysis of this partnership reveals a glaring contradiction to standard industry practices. Major labels typically demand that their teenage signings undergo radical image overhauls, adopt hypersexualized aesthetics, and perform generic electronic beats designed purely for short-term streaming playlists. Cavendish Records executed the exact opposite blueprint. They bet everything on absolute sonic purity. They recognized a massive, completely underserved global market consisting of older, highly loyal demographics who have been entirely alienated by modern radio trends. This specific consumer base does not care about viral TikTok challenges. They demand flawless, classical crossover vocals, timeless cinematic ballads, and Broadway standards. More importantly, this audience possesses significant disposable income, meaning they still actively purchase physical compact discs, high-end merchandise, and premium live theater tickets. By catering directly to this fiercely dedicated niche, the label insulated their young star from the volatile shifts of the top 40 charts, ensuring that every track recorded would remain relevant for decades rather than weeks. Our data team has uncovered a grueling, almost unprecedented studio production schedule that defies every established norm of the modern music business. In the contemporary landscape, major recording artists routinely take 2, 3, or even 4 years to construct a single studio album, relying on massive marketing campaigns and pre-released singles to slowly drip-feed content to a fickle public. This slow-rolling strategy was completely discarded by the architects of this independent empire. Between 2019 and 2026, a relentless, near-impossible release velocity was unleashed upon the market, resulting in an astonishing 7 full-length studio albums dropped in rapid succession, stretching from her debut premiere all the way to her latest 2026 collection, Portrait. This aggressive, machine-like consistency meant that her target audience was permanently locked into her content ecosystem, with a fresh, full-length record arriving almost every 12 months without fail. From an analytical perspective, this high-volume output functions as an unyielding retention engine. It completely eliminates the dangerous gap periods where a fan's attention might wander to competing artists. By flooding her distribution channels with an uninterrupted stream of high-quality, timeless music, she created a continuous loop of consumer engagement, transforming casual digital viewers into permanent, long-term subscribers who anticipate her annual releases with the regularity of a major holiday event. When we look into the back-end digital analytics of this operation, we expose an absolute anomaly that completely rewrites the rules of online video engagement. The modern digital economy is governed by an algorithm that fiercely rewards hyper-aggressive visual editing, frantic camera movements, shocking text overlays, and loud, dramatic behavioral stunts designed to capture short attention spans. Yet this channel managed to secure over 1.5 billion views by doing the exact opposite, embracing absolute visual minimalism. An analytical breakdown of her video library reveals a deceptively simple, unchanging template: a high-end studio microphone, a soft, professional backdrop, and a vocal performance completely devoid of theatrical gimmicks or distracting edits. Our digital media experts confirm that this minimalist design is actually a highly sophisticated psychological trap optimized for maximum viewer retention. Because there are zero visual distractions, rapid cuts, or flashy special effects, the entire cognitive load of the viewer is forced to focus exclusively on the acoustic quality and emotional weight of the vocal delivery. Viewers do not click away because they are waiting for the next visual transition. They are held completely captive by the uninterrupted progression of the song. This forces average watch times through the roof, sending massive algorithmic signals to platforms that this content possesses extraordinary value, which in turn triggers massive, organic global distribution without a single dollar spent on traditional advertising. Just as industry critics began to speculate that the solo studio cover format might be reaching a point of diminishing returns, a calculated new asset was introduced to the channel that completely doubled its emotional leverage over the audience. This strategic adjustment came from within the artist's own household, with the sudden, unannounced introduction of her younger sister, Martha, into high-stakes vocal duets. Tracks like You Raise Me Up quickly transformed from standard musical covers into viral, cross-platform phenomena, generating tens of millions of views within days. From a purely cynical branding perspective, this was a masterful psychological maneuver. The introduction of sisterly harmonies did not just add a rich, complementary vocal texture to the arrangements. It successfully injected an organic, wholesome family narrative directly into the commercial product. In an entertainment industry widely perceived by the public as cold, corporate, and intensely manufactured, the image of two sisters performing flawless harmonies in a simple studio setting acts as an immediate emotional anchor for the consumer. It fundamentally altered the relationship between the artist and the audience, shifting the fan dynamic from simple musical appreciation to deep, personal investment in a family's collective journey, effectively insulating the brand from corporate fatigue. Our investigative team tracked a massive, high-stakes financial gamble that took place away from the safety of digital streaming platforms and dropped this independent operation directly into the cutthroat world of live theatrical commerce. Historically, converting free online video views into high-ticket live event sales is one of the most notoriously difficult transitions in the entertainment industry, with many digital stars failing to sell out even small, intimate venues. Yet the strategy shifted dramatically as the young vocalist bypassed small-scale tour and leaped directly into London's prestigious West End, anchoring major productions at the historic Theatre Royal Drury Lane and taking the leading role in Rosie the Musical. Backed by a full 30-piece live orchestra, this move was a deliberate play to establish institutional legitimacy within the traditional arts world. By transforming her brand from an internet streaming phenomenon into a critically acclaimed, box-office-tested musical theater headliner, her team successfully validated her star power in the physical world. This transition allowed them to command premium ticket prices, moving away from volatile digital ad revenues and locking in massive, upfront box office receipts from an affluent theater-going demographic that completely guarantees long-term financial viability. We have uncovered the final, most disruptive phase of this independent blueprint, executed quietly across the first half of 2026, which effectively severs all remaining ties to corporate media middlemen. For years, independent musicians have voiced intense frustration over major streaming monopolies like Spotify and Apple Music, which pay fractional fractions of a cent per stream, forcing artists to rely on exhausting touring schedules just to break even. To completely bypass this systemic exploitation, her team executed a masterclass in direct-to-consumer monetization by launching a highly structured, official Patreon subscription platform. By offering exclusive behind-the-scenes content, early access to studio masters, and private community interactions directly to her most dedicated followers, she turned a small percentage of her billions of viewers into high-value monthly subscribers. Combined with high-definition global live streams broadcast from historic, exclusive venues like Liverpool's Palm House, her team has built a fully decentralized, recession-proof financial ecosystem. The revenue is collected directly from the fan and deposited directly into the independent operation, proving definitively that the traditional apparatus of major record labels, radio syndicates, and corporate distribution gatekeepers is no longer required to achieve sustained, worldwide commercial dominance. The unprecedented trajectory of this independent musical empire stands as a damning indictment of an outdated, predatory Hollywood system that is rapidly losing its grip on global talent. What we have witnessed over the course of this investigation is a complete inversion of the traditional rules of celebrity manufacturing. A young artist bypassed the major label system, ignored modern pop mandates, rejected flashy visual trends, and built a bulletproof, multi-million-dollar career through absolute vocal purity, hyper-consistent album outputs, and direct fan monetization. By valuing long-term artistic integrity over short-term viral hype, her team did not just dismantle the reality television curse. They provided a definitive blueprint for the future of decentralized entertainment. As legacy record conglomerates continue to watch their market share fracture in the face of independent digital creators, this case study serves as a stark warning to the executive boardrooms of London and New York. The era where a handful of corporate gatekeepers could manufacture, control and destroy an artist's career is officially coming to a close, which leaves the entire global entertainment industry facing a deeply disruptive, irreversible reality. When the tools of production, distribution, and monetization belong entirely to the artist, the legacy record label ceases to be a gatekeeper and becomes nothing more than a relic of a bygone era.